For the longest time, I prioritized my kids' needs over my own. And then by lunchtime, I was burned out and tired with very little capacity to handle any big emotions. This was because my nervous system was dysregulated. I was overwhelmed. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to handle this feeling. I found that I would be short, irritable, frustrated with my kids over even the tiniest of things. One night, I remember asking myself, how did I get here? Where did this come from? Why am I so miserable? Because truthfully, mornings used to be sacred. It was a slow and intentional time that we were able to start the day off right. And somehow, in the busyness of motherhood, I had formed this mindset that I was going to be a martyr to motherhood, a martyr to my children. When in reality, the greatest gift I could give them was meeting my own needs, taking care of myself by creating these little habits to heal my nervous system. So if you are stuck in the busyness and you feel like you have no time to heal your nervous system, you are going to absolutely love today's video. So a few weeks ago, I shared a video all about habits for the nervous system. And I need to be honest and say after this video aired, I had a very, very, very stressful couple of weeks. There is just a lot going on right now. My daughter has her big cardiology appointment coming up. I am leaving to go on a trip. My husband is going on a deployment. And I mean, do I even need to say more than that? But there's more, it's just the chaos of life coming in, right? And I was feeling like my nervous system was not keeping up. I was doing all the calming tools. I was doing all the things. And there was this moment where I looked at my husband and I said, something needs to change. I can't keep doing this. Like what is going on? Like nothing is going the way it was. My morning routine was all, a mess. And then it was leading into the day and it just, oh my gosh, it was chaos. And so recently I shared about this book, but I had read the book, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. And it really dawned on me, well, when I was in this season, that maybe I just need to slow down. Maybe I need to kind of take a break from life. I can't take a break from motherhood. Maybe I kind of need to take a break from life. And so when I started thinking about how I was going to do that, my intuition went towards the morning. And so this is exactly what I've done to get myself back on track. And it all starts for me in the morning because it gives me that good foundation. It gives me a really solid jumping point. That doesn't mean everything's going to go perfectly the rest of the day, but I have a much better chance or a higher chance of the rest of the day going well because I've nurtured this morning time. So there are, how many habits do I have here? I have 5. So 5 habits. So the first one is very, very simple. I actually shared it in that video about daily habits, but it's just moving slow. Like, can you move through a task slowly? Can you even go more micro than that? Can you just walk from the laundry room to your bedroom to bring the clothes and do it slowly? Can you make your child's drink slowly? What can you do to slow down these moments? And it doesn't have to be your entire morning slow. Like, I'm not saying that. I get so many people are triggered by the slow living movement because they feel like it's just oh, we just sit around and we relax and we do nothing all day. No, that's not it, especially with kids. But it does need to look more intentional, and it doesn't have to be the entire morning is that way either. Maybe it's just while you're making breakfast. It's really slow. Something that I started doing was, my daughter loves to snuggle in the morning, and it felt like something that was holding me back. Something that was holding me back from showing up and getting all the tasks done that need to get done in the morning time. And instead, I just sat there with her and I just rocked her and I held her. And what was interesting is after day 3 of doing this, she only wanted to sit there for about 5 minutes and she was off playing, you know? And so, can I slow down just enough to be intentional, to notice more of the little things, and also to let my body kind of catch up to what is going on around me? Okay, number 2 is going to be to pause and notice so you can understand what your needs are. As a mom, I really believed that I needed to be a martyr to my children, to my husband, to everybody. Thought that was my job as a mom. And I thought my needs no longer matter. They no longer have any weight, and that's that. And the craziest part for me when I was in school was coming to this understanding that needs, our biological needs, are holding most of us, or I would even argue all of us, back from being the mom that we really want to be. Acknowledging that we have needs, when we show up in a way that's loving and empathetic, it's because our needs are met. And okay, I know what you're thinking here. Okay, so what am I needing? Because I've got food, I've got a house. What else do I need, you know? And this is where I would invite you to start looking into nonviolent communication, look into their list of needs. But let me give you a couple examples. So sometimes I find myself needing communication. Maybe it's support, purpose, creativity, joy, rest. And I find that my needs are different per different times of my cycle. It's a book that I'm reading right now is called Do Less. And I can't remember the author, but I will be sure to link it below. What's so interesting to me is that our cycle plays a huge role in what we are needing per different phases of our cycle. And so at the beginning of our cycle, it's, you know, if we look at seasons, it's that springtime. So maybe we're needing more creativity, you know, and then as we move into kind of the ovulation time, it's like we're wanting to be really productive, we're wanting to produce, be creative, all of these things. And then once we actually get towards the end of our cycle, it's where we're actually needing rest. And isn't it amazing that we were created in this way to have this 28-day cycle? And so this has really changed for me how I see my needs, that this week my needs might not be rest. I might not actually need to rest. But next week, as I get closer to my cycle actually returning, I need to rest. It's a need of mine. And if I'm not meeting that need, I'm not able to show up the way I need to for my kids. I'm not able to parent them the way that I want to and I need to. So I think this is a critical part of the understanding that we need to come to, and the I would say the acknowledgement, the intuitiveness to what's going on for us. And so here is where you would want to take into account, you know, what is going on in my body? Like first of all, where's my body even at? You know, like let me just like understand what's going on here. How do I feel emotionally? You know, what are the feelings and the emotions going on? And then understanding where I'm at on my thermometer, asking myself, where am I at? This is something that I teach in the Calm Mama Blueprint, all about my thermometer, and how that, knowing that, understanding where you're at is really helpful in those moments when you're feeling like you're going to bubble over and you're going to flip your lid. And so I think if we can take this whole idea of pausing, noticing, taking account for what's going in, and then understanding what our needs are, meeting that need, I think that we are going to show up drastically different. And I know for a fact that once we start meeting these needs, our nervous system starts to feel safe. Safety is part of a need. It is a biological need of ours. And so if we can make the body feel safe, feel at ease, feel at peace, we can actually get into that calm state or that parasympathetic state a lot more easily. So the third thing is morning sunlight. I mean, even if it's just 30 seconds in a window, like I take off my glasses and I'm just letting the sunshine pour in my eyes. It doesn't have to be long, you guys, but just a little bit of natural sunlight will actually help us to orient, which I'll share about in a minute. Um, this one doesn't need a whole ton of explanation because obviously you can just go outside and get some sunlight. But I believe that nature heals us in so many ways. And I believe our nervous system needs nature, it needs the sunshine to be able to regulate, to be able to actually have rhythm. That's why when babies are little, with their circadian rhythm, we feel it can be off because maybe they're not in nature. Maybe they aren't exposed to the sun as much because they're inside. We want to keep them warm. We want to, keep them cool from the, heat. And so, yeah, this makes total sense to me. And yeah, something that I've been doing for a long time, but I've been really focusing on in the last few months as it's starting to get almost summer here, which I'm really excited about. Okay, so I hinted towards this one. The next one is orienting. If you have no idea what this is, that is totally okay. Hang tight. I discovered orienting through Irene Lyon. She does a ton of work on the nervous system. She is an expert in the field. So definitely, like, if you want to learn more, you want to dive more into the nervous system work, you're going to want to head over to her. I'll make sure to link her video specifically on orienting below. But for me, orienting became the way that I created safety for my body. When my body was needing safety, this gave me a small dose of it. And when Irene talks about orienting, I love how she is constantly talking about nature. So we pull in that last point of, getting morning sun. How can we orient ourselves in these little moments? Something that I do at the beginning of every practice with my clients is orienting ourselves to the room, to the screen, to whatever's kind of distracting or pulling you away, so we can be here, so we can be safe. Orienting can look like bringing our bodies back online. I love how Irene describes it, how people will do this without even knowing it, but they're nervous, and you start seeing them kind of go like this. They're trying to bring their body back online without even noticing. And so orienting, I'm going to give you a couple of examples of how I've been utilizing it, but if you want more in depth, definitely go over and watch her video. The first thing, I've been doing this for years now, but it's something I've been bringing back into my practice a little bit more intentionally, is taking my cup of coffee. Right now, I made the most amazing, it's the new way I've been liking it, a new coffee. So I'm just brewing regular coffee, putting some half and half in, and then I have honey, a little bit of salt, vanilla, and cinnamon. It smells so good. And the reason why I'm describing this to you is because when I make this cup, the first thing I'm doing is smelling it. It's like I'm on a Hallmark movie. That's what I feel like. My sister loves Hallmark, and if she watches this, she'll laugh. But yeah, like I feel like I'm cozy. I'm in a Hallmark movie. I'm enjoying my cup of coffee, So I'm smelling it, and I can smell all those notes, all the aromas, right? And then maybe I pull it down and I notice the outside of the cup. And maybe I bring my gaze and follow the outside, and maybe it gets slower and slower, okay? Now maybe I notice on my finger here I have a cut, and so I'm going to kind of start bringing awareness back onto the body. And you may want to yawn. You may feel like you need to take some deep breaths. It's all good. So all that calming of the nervous system. Really bringing in all the different senses. I know that we've heard this one before, where you use your five senses and you look for things around the room. This is similar to that, except I kind of think of it as things that are sticking points when we're inside, things that are kind of grabbing our attention, things that are calling us. They're my phone's sitting right here, and so maybe my phone is a distraction when I'm recording, and so maybe I orient to that. So that way I can be here fully present. And I love how Irene describes it with nature. It's like we need nature. And so she talks about orienting outside. And so we have so many different ways that we orient and we need to orient. Something my kids do naturally, and I've been kind of learning from them, is when they go outside, they are telling me where the clouds are, what color the clouds are, if there's any blue in the sky. Wow, it feels really cold. Ooh, it's kind of windy. Oh, mom, do you hear that bird? Do you feel the sunshine? It's coming from this way. Like, orienting is just natural to these little beings. And so let's learn from them. And so one way you can do this is just literally sit back and watch your kids orient. Watch them do it naturally. Learn from them. So yeah, I would love to talk more about this, but I think that Irene does such a great job. And so I would highly recommend going over there and checking out more information if you want to understand more. Okay, the last thing is eating food within 30 minutes of waking up. This was something I learned from Corey Malloy and her Freely Rooted program. I took this course over 4 years ago. I still utilize everything in it to this day. It has been life-changing for me. I cannot say enough. I want to be honest here and say that I think that this was actually the first point of me actually realizing I had a nervous system and that there were things that affected it. I realized that food was affecting it. And then it was through her group that somebody recommended going to the chiropractor. So I went to the chiropractor, and that brought on a whole new awareness that I had no idea about. And all of a sudden, all these things are bubbling up and out. And I felt like a dysregulated mess, but it needed to come out. Okay. And then I went to school and I thought, well, I'm doing pretty good. You know, I've been going to the chiropractor for a couple of years. I'm doing some nervous system work. I like kind of get it. And then, I'm kicked on my butt again. And I'm like, whoa, I never learned that about the nervous system. That's crazy. And so, yeah, I think that this was the starting point. And so if I, in a season am feeling really stressed, I will make sure that I'm eating within 30 minutes of waking. This is ensuring that my body doesn't have to go into stress survival mode. And that's huge. So if you want to learn more about that, head over to Corey Malloy. Again, she's an expert in that field. I'm just here to share the information and kind of be a catalyst for what I've learned and what I do on a daily basis. So I hope that these little habits help you to start your day off well. I hope that you feel nourished. I hope that you feel held. I hope that you feel excited to try these things out tomorrow morning when you wake up. You don't have to do them all, but maybe pick one just to start with. I mean, honestly, I would just pick slowing down. It's so easy. It's so simple. So anyway, if you like this video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see more content like this, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. If you have a friend, somebody who's really struggling in motherhood, would you please send her my channel just to encourage her in her daily life. I know how much that would have meant to me in those really hard seasons. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.